All right, let's put on our hacker historian hats for this one. We're digging all the way back to the very first CVE ever assigned. This is the story of a single tiny bug that not only shaped modern cybersecurity, but teaches a lesson that, well, we're still learning today.
So forget about massive data breaches and ransomware for a minute. We're talking about an era where the deadliest weapon was almost microscopic. Just a single broken packet of data sent across the wire with enough power to bring a server completely to its knees.
And yeah, that is the big question, isn't it? How could something so seemingly insignificant cause so much chaos? Let's break it down.
So this is it, cve-1999-00001. And it's so much more than just an entry in a database. This is the cornerstone of the entire system we now use to track and fight digital threats. This is where it all began.
That 0001, that number is everything. It marks the moment the cybersecurity world went from, frankly, total chaos, scattered mailing lists and pure guesswork, to actually creating a common language for fighting vulnerabilities. This is where the order began.
Okay, so how did it actually work? What was the flaw that made this one packet so incredibly deadly? Let's dissect the anatomy of this crash.
This was a classic, old-school denial-of-service attack. The goal wasn't to steal data or gain control, not at all. It was much simpler, much more direct. Just send a messed-up packet and watch the system crash or hang indefinitely. Pure digital sabotage.
And this wasn't some niche bug affecting one obscure piece of software. No, this hit a whole family of really influential operating systems based on BSD. That means a huge portion of the early internet's backbone was vulnerable to this one simple attack.
Now, a 5.0 score might not sound all that terrifying today, but you gotta look closer. The real danger was its simplicity. It was remote, super low complexity, and required zero authentication. Anyone on the internet could launch this attack. That's what made it so potent.
The attack path was just devastatingly simple. Step 1, send the bad packet. Step 2, a core piece of the operating system's networking code fails to check if the packet is even valid. And then step 3, because of that one failure, the whole system just gives up. It crashes, hangs, or simply dies.
And it all boils down to one root cause: improper input validation. The system simply trusted the data it received. That was the mistake. It's a foundational lesson learned the hard way, and believe it or not, it's a mistake we still see causing major breaches today.
But the technical details are really only half the story. The real impact of this thing was historical. This single vulnerability forced us to get organized. It marked the moment we began to formalize the fight against digital threats.
This marks a true shift from chaos to order. Before CVE, sysadmins were hunting for patches on random mailing lists and literally praying before rebooting a server. The CVE system gave us a central database, a common language, and a sane, data-driven way to fix things. It was a game changer.
The legacy of this one simple packet is just enormous. It really planted the seeds for the entire modern cybersecurity industry as we know it today.
You can draw a direct line from CVE 1999-00001 straight to where we are today. It started the conversation that led to responsible disclosure, which then evolved into standardized security frameworks, and has now brought us to the cutting edge with things like AI-powered exploit intelligence. It all started right here.
So, after all these years, what's the key takeaway from this ancient vulnerability? Why does this quarter-century-old story still matter so much?
Well, it all comes back to this. Fundamental principles never go out of style. The failure to validate input crashed servers back then, and it's the same category of mistake behind countless breaches today. The lesson is simple. Always verify, never just trust.
It's a powerful reminder, right? Every single line of code counts, especially in those critical pathways that handle data from the outside world. In security, there's just no room for error. Diligence is everything.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. If a flaw this basic had such a massive impact back then, what simple, fundamental mistake are we all overlooking right now, buried deep in the code that runs our world?